Welcome to another episode of the Fanzone podcast, your home for all things Bolton Wanderers, up the Trotters, the Northwest's #1 podcast.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Fanzone podcast. Of course, tonight is episode 157. We've named it Vale Vanquished. Thank you very much for all of you who've joined us tonight so far in the chat. You're all, of course, very welcome as ever. Wonderful to have 4 people on the panel tonight, of course. Dan, Nath, Ange, how are you all?
4-man pod.
Fantastic.
4-man pod indeed. I am, as you can probably see, for those watching on live, I'm in my office for the first time in 3 years of doing this. So if you're a little bit thrown off by the fact that I'm not in my usual toilet or bathroom, as you've referred to it as over the years, then that's the reason why, despite the fact that Angie's probably right, nobody would really care. But lovely to have you all on tonight's episode, and thank you very much for everybody in the chat so far. Of course, tonight's episode is sponsored by Loving My Socials. Leanne does a sterling job of sponsoring the podcast so far this season. We're very much appreciative of that. If you'd like to learn more about Loving My Socials, then do feel free to head over to our website, of course, all the W's, fanzonepod.co.uk, to find out more info. Obviously, yesterday was rather comprehensive in the end, despite somewhat of a edgy start to the game. But we enjoyed a 4-0 victory, of course, over Port Vale yesterday afternoon. I think it's only fair that we kind of get going and give us our post-match reactions. Hopefully, you care more about that than my office. So one just made it.
Your mum.
Sorry?
Your mum's in the chat. She cares, she says.
Oh, well, there we are. So at least somebody does. More so than Ange, of course. You've thrown me off completely what I was saying. But yeah, yesterday, of course, Wanderers managed to make it 4 wins on the bounce in all competitions. Fabulous 4-0 victory. As this is the first pod that I've done with Nathan, I'm going to start with Nathan, if you don't mind, Nathan. Give us your reaction after yesterday's fabulous, emphatic victory over Port Vale.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I think, to come away 4 goals, none conceded is kind of the perfect Saturday. I predicted 3-0. It was nice to get that extra 4th. I mean, Port Vale at home is a game that we should be beating. I think it's been a while coming that we've, battered a team at home that we should have battered at home. And it was also nice to see them work it out. That first 25 minutes was a bit ropey, a bit sloppy, a few errors. Port Vale, kind of put it on us, probably more so than anyone was expecting. And it was nice to see the players kind of work it out themselves on the pitch in the first half and kind of get that control back. And I think once we scored that first goal, there was no coming back really. And you do run out of superlatives for him. It's kind of hard to have a man of the match debate, as we were saying before we came on, with Koji Dewberry when he's playing like this. He had that period, was it after Orient, maybe, where he just dropped off for 4 games or so, where he, maybe didn't influence it in the same way. But I think since then it's 4 goals, 4 games and 3 assists. So, that form is, it's scary. But, he wasn't the only good one. Sissoko had a cracking game, I thought. Simon, Sheehan, they were all to a man fantastic, really. And it was nice for Sharman Lowe to put some of those doubters to bed with that fantastic save early doors as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've covered pretty much all bases there, Nath. Perfect.
Sorry, taking the
There
ball.
was something there.
Yeah, perfect summary though. I think you're absolutely right, and I think Dan will be, and I think he's still deciding on who to do his segment for later on. Be that the player profiles, but I think he's having a good think about that, and there's plenty of choices, like you say, who we could kind of have a deep dive into. Ange, presumably you saw plenty of the game. I know you had a few drinks yesterday and you're a little bit merry. So hopefully you can remember it and you saw some of it. So yeah, from what you did see, what are your thoughts?
I actually didn't miss a goal for once. So that's
Wow.
nice. I normally if I go to the toilet a bit early or come back from our time a bit late, I normally miss a goal. So it was nice to see all 4 goals.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, Collie, it was a bit of a edgy start, a little bit on the back foot. We were. I don't want to take anything away from Vale. I don't think they were a terrible side at all. I just think we were clinical, and that's something that we've waxed lyrical about on this show in the past, where we just haven't been clinical in that final third, and we were. They're a big physical side, and we're a much smaller side, but we found a way, and like Nathan had said, worked it out in that first half what we needed to do to start getting up the pitch. Some lovely play from Sissoko. I think that cup match gave him loads of confidence, and some of his tricky footery is actually paid off yesterday. I know we call him the step over king, but some of it paid off yesterday. And my favourite moment, you know what I'm going to say? Kyle Dempsey's goal.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's to show that's just your favourite moment. I think yesterday, Andrew, I would have thought.
Yes, honestly, I'm so happy for the lad. Fingers crossed, he's back to his full fit self, and he gets a good run of games and gets back to where we know he can be, because I love him in that midfield. Absolutely love him. So yeah, that's all from me.
Yeah. Dan, so instead of just asking you about the game yesterday, of course, I do want your thoughts and opinions on that. But obviously that's 4 in the bounce now. That's going into an international break, either fortunately or unfortunately, depending how you look at it. Beyond that, we're looking at Bradford at home as the next game. That's a pretty huge game, isn't it? How are we feeling going into that one before you give us your summary?
Confident, to be honest. I think we've some of the teams we've beat recently. I don't think we should be fearing anyone. People should be thinking about us as well. Obviously there's going to be tough games, but we've got a hell of a team. I think yesterday when I looked at the bench, I was like, crikey, we've got a couple of injuries, and that is still a really, really strong bench at this level. And yeah, we've all kind of said, can we put a run together? Well, we are doing. And we're picking up the points, and we're looking a lot more solid defensively as well. So it's a big game. They're not in amazing form, are they? Like I know a couple of people in the chat have alluded to. So I don't see why shouldn't we go and attack that game like we're going to win it? And I think that's the way we do play, isn't it? We try and win any game. We approach and try and get a win. So yeah, on the game itself, like everybody said, that first 25 half an hour, very sketchy, not much to shout about, and you have to credit Port Vale for the job they did on us. Teddy, like you say, a couple of good saves. One in particular I thought really good. We might have been 1 or 2 down. John O did a great block as well, and I think that were goal bound.
Yeah,
and it's them little moments we've talked about it over the course of a season, them margins and stuff like that, and we're defending so kind of resolutely as a team, and then we go and score pretty much against the run of play, if you will, and that's when the difference comes in, where their head kind of went after that, and we were allowed to get confidence and show our quality a little bit more, and obviously I felt like when we did go goal up, it was only ever going to win one way. We might have got 6 or 7 on another day. You don't know. We went for it. I don't feel like we got complacent. I would have liked to have seen Force or any of the other subs come on and bag a goal. But yeah, really encouraging from goalkeeper to striker. there were nobody you could say didn't have a good game. And I think if you were to pick a man of the match, apart from Amario, obviously, I don't think anybody would be wrong in whoever they might say, because I felt they were all up to that level that we need them at. Yeah.
Absolutely. Obviously, there was an edgy start, and one thing I were keen to do when we kind of grew the Fanzone podcast team is get an opinion from afar, because I think when you're in the stadium, you're very much immersed in kind of the atmosphere, and you see you feel the edginess, don't you, when you're in the grounds? Obviously, Nath, you don't always have that privilege of being in the stadium. From afar, how did it come across the first kind of 15 minutes of the game, when it felt to those of us in the stadium that we're a little bit on the ropes a little bit?
It just felt like one of those situations where, as we've seen being Bolton fans last couple of years, where we were just being slow, and you kind of thought, is it going to be one of them days where it doesn't click and they don't get going, and we, are we going to concede that stupid goal in the first 15, 20 minutes? But, I think once we got that control, I mean, like I said, that first 15, 20, it was cagey. You could sense it wasn't necessarily going how we wanted it to. But, yeah, you never really felt like the game was going to, they were going to go run away with it. Even if they had scored, I don't think they were showing the signs of a team that was going to, not give up any chances. And I think that showed from how the game panned out anyway. But yeah, it is a lot. It can be more comfortable at home, but
the perspective is often different. I've said this a lot about the away games whenever I watch them on kind of iFollow or Wonders TV or whatever. And obviously, when you're at the stadium, because there's so much expectation, and obviously when it doesn't quite go, as we're expecting it to, it can kind of feel like, certainly feels like the game isn't obviously going as we want. So I'm just curious, did you kind of feel that from where you were? Or
I don't think I necessarily. I don't think it came across that it wasn't going to go how he wanted. It just felt, you could feel the crowd getting nervous. I'd say you could sense that kind of, a few, grumblings of this is, we shouldn't be in this position. We should be controlling this game. Especially when you look at that squad. And, like you said, with the strength and depth you have on the bench, there's no reason that team shouldn't be controlling that game from minute one. So you could feel the growing sense of frustration from the crowd, but it didn't necessarily translate to the pitch. It was disjointed, it was messy, but it never felt like the players were, they were getting necessarily worried. I had something I was going to say, then it's completely gone out of my head.
That's all good. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, it was and the atmosphere, to be fair, it's still been rocking. Especially once we got that first goal. I think it's the best atmosphere at home. Like this season itself, if you take it as a whole, the atmosphere at home has been fantastic. The back end's been great. That stand opposite the dugouts is always seems to be full. So I don't think it was maybe as worrying as you guys saw it in the ground, but it had its moments.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think, though, and I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, will agree, I think we can kind of thank, or certainly should give homage to Teddy Sharman-Law for the couple of top saves that he made early doors. So I do think that was a contributing factor to the reason why we picked up such a comprehensive victory yesterday.
Collie's thinking about his points at the end.
Points,
aren't you?
I'm thinking about promotion, Andrew, nothing else. I don't know about you. I'm sick of this league.
Points when we do our prediction show at the end of the season.
Yeah, just saying we judged that particular book far too early. So perfect segue into the Fanzone man of the match. Please, as ever, do get them in the comments and in the chat. We'll be more than happy to kind of chuck them onto the screen and get your thoughts on that. But we'll have a little think about the man of the match. Yeah. Before we do that, of course, I want to say thank you very much, of course, to Laura for a massive contribution once again on the chat, or super chat, I think they call it on YouTube. A £10 donation is greatly appreciated. Any donations that we get on the podcast does go towards operating the podcast, of course. It's greatly appreciated. So thank you very much, Laura, for that. Doesn't go unnoticed. Right, okay, I'll go with Ange to start off with, please, for the man of the match. ACD, I think we're all in agreement that he doesn't count. Is that fair to say?
He can't count, can he?
Can't keep picking him, can we? You see, he's got his own.
We should just give it him
award,
as standard, and then with supporting cast.
Yeah, so he's a supporting cast then, Ange.
My supporting, and not just because I saw him after the match yesterday and had a nice little chat with him. I was going to go to Joshua Sheehan. I just thought he was back to his better self yesterday. I'm not a fan of Randall and Sheehan playing together. Never have been. Don't like it being quite so lightweight in that midfield. But I think he once we got past that first half an hour, he was great and he was dictating play and he was pinging passes and he was the Sheehan that I love to watch. So yes, for me, Joshua.
Fair enough.
Fair enough indeed. Dan, what about you, mate?
I want to pick Christie, I think, because it was his kind of, I don't know if it's his first 90 minutes for us, but he lasted 90 minutes. I thought he was solid from the get-go, and I thought he really grew into the game later on, and you can tell he's got that pedigree of experience of playing at higher levels. And I have to say as well, I did not know he had such a good ping on him, like going overtaking those corners and really whipping some good crosses in. I was really surprised at that. So the more kind of quality you can get around set plays is always a good thing, isn't it? And I don't think he really put a foot wrong. He overlapped well. He looked solid defensively, and I'm really happy with him. Really impressed with him. So Christie for me.
Excellent. I think it's a first shout, as we anticipated. I think anybody that we choose here, I think is going to be. Well, no, you can't really argue it, can you? Really, I think there's been a lot of shouts for Sheehan and of course Christie as well. So that correlates with the chat, guys and girls. What about yourself, Nath? What are you saying?
I'm probably going to go for Sissoko. I think he's had a lot of stick, probably rightly so, for all them step overs. But I really thought yesterday, I thought he was fantastic. Yeah, I thought he gave a good balance to us always having to go down the right because it was nice to have that option to go left and trust that he was going to take his man on and do something good with the ball. So yeah, I thought he played really well. So I give it to Sissoko.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, so the supporting cast for me, man of the match. Should we rename it that? I'm going to give it to Teddy Sharman Law, to be honest.
Oh, I got a split vote.
Yeah, I just think that you can't. I don't think we can underestimate the importance of the saves that he made at the times that he made them as well. Because I think if we go concede early and we go kind of 1 or even 2-0 down, then we've got
different
problems.
Game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a completely different game, and I think it's he deserves kudos for that for me. So we've got a complete split across the whole four of us. So what I'll do, and you're the OG Fanzone man of the matcher, with you being the lady of the group as well. I'm going to let you. No, I want you to give the deciding vote based on the chat.
Oh, please. Right, Christy. I was going to look at 1, 2, 3. It's pretty tight, I think Christy just pips it in the chat.
Christy pips it in the chat.
Oh, we lost Nathan. I'm splitting out.
We have lost Nathan indeed, yeah. I think he's trying to get back in, so I don't want to change the overlays just before he gets back in. Nope. And here he is.
There you go. Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all right. Live podcasting. It is what it is. We've been in agreement that Christy, according to the chat, has kind of just pipped it in. So, which is good because I think, again, it's options, isn't it? I think Cogley as well at right back in recent weeks has been good. We can't say he hasn't been. He's been. I think he probably considered himself quite unlucky not to play yesterday, to be fair. And then the moment he's out of the team, we have a performance like that. So happy days. I think we've got a plethora of options, haven't we? And we're quite fortunate and pretty spoiled at this time. So kind of long may that continue because I think that's what'll separate the the bigger teams, the better teams in the season, the ones that kind of keep the best players fit, can't they? So
squad depth, massive.
Happy days indeed. Happy days indeed. So congratulations to the right back from yesterday, of course, Cyrus Christie, my Fanzone man of the match supporting act.
Jordan, get a new graphic done.
Get your graphic done, Jordan. Get your graphic out. So we'll have a bit of a reaction from a tactical standpoint following yesterday's emphatic victory. We'll hand it over to the stat man for the Gaffer's Notebook.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Gaffer's Notebook with the stat man himself, and obviously today we're going to review the quality 4-0 abomination, that's just not a word, you know what I'm trying to say, absolute battering of Port Vale. And not to big myself up too much, but that was pretty much exactly what I said was going to happen, is it not? I mean, just to go back to what I said in the preview, they do create quite a lot of chances, and quite a lot of them fall to Devante Cole within the 6-yard box, as happened in pretty much the first 15 minutes. But they don't score that many, do they? And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. In the first half, Vale had 7 shots, 4 on target, including a big chance. But did they score any? No. And but to be fair, before you scored, Cozy Dewberry, nice volley, edge of the box. Probably not a volley, but you get the point. It was a very nice goal from the edge of the box. And yeah, before then, it looked like you were in a bit of trouble. But as Port Vale, they start very well. Look like they're going to score a load of goals. Concede one, heads drop, floodgates open. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened, isn't it? I mean, I think the keeper probably should have saved Cozy Dewberry's first goal at least. But yeah, I could just end it there, couldn't I? They should have scored. They didn't. You scored quite a lot. But I won't. We'll touch on the role of one man in particular, because I found it quite interesting. So let's go to the tactics board. It's been a while. Should be on your screen now, hopefully. And yeah, so this is a bit of a rough setup. Obviously, 4-2-3-1 for yourselves and a bit of a back five for them. Now, Randall was playing, and we all know by now that Randall likes to drift over there into the left. Sissoko stayed quite wide, to be fair, and Randall picked up the space in between him and Burstow. Cozy Dewberry found himself in this sort of space on their wide centre-half. Christie got up quite a lot himself, but Simons was there. Very, very interesting. He was playing in what is known as the right half space. Now, when on the odd occasion Christie stayed back and Cozy Dewberry went wide, you found yourself in a very solid structure. You've stretched the pitch entirely. They have to go man for man on your front five, as it is. But when Christie pushed up, now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out 6 is more than 5. And there was quite often a spare man. And that spare man tended to be Mr. Simons. He did have a name a second ago. I don't know where that name has gone. But yeah, you get the point. Simons found himself in quite a lot of space. And while his goal came from a corner, not from open play, it was from there. The right half space on the edge of the box. So whether we're going to see that in the future or not is interesting, because if we remember, I have been calling for Mr. Simons to play in, or not Mr. Simons to be fair, just anybody to play in the right half space and let Cozy Dewberry stay wide. And yeah, so whether we see that in the future could be interesting, because to be fair, I always see Simons as a bit more of a holding midfielder, but he's clearly got more to his game than just being a number 6. Whether that makes him a better box-to-box than a holding midfielder. That's up for debate. But he was quite good, was he not? And then I'm not going to drag this on too much because let's be fair, from a 4-0 win, there's not much to break down, is there? You played well, they did not. You did give up quite a lot of chances in the first half, as I've already said, though, and that will have to be fixed against better opposition. But, to be fair, Port Vale are good at creating them, just not good at scoring them. The last thing I want to say is Kyle Dempsey. Let's give him a round of applause, shall we? Well played. He has not had the easiest couple of years, has he, with injuries and such. But when he came on, he looked all right. Nice, composed finish. Exactly what a midfielder should do. Make the late run into the box, finish the cutback. And whether he gets some serious game time in the coming weeks could be interesting. But I don't think there's too much else to say, to be fair. So I'm just going to let you enjoy the rest of the show, and I'm sure I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Statman breakdown. Very much appreciated as ever. Sterling work. Whilst I think on, please do share your thoughts in the chat ahead of our fan focus segment, as the comment says on screen. Keen to use your thoughts ahead of that particular segment. I think we're going to be taking control of that, Ange, yourself tonight. Is that right?
Yeah.
She'll encourage that for people to throw their opinions on there. But yeah, I think Callum's spot on. I think, as David's just said, homage to Dempsey. I think to come on and obviously impact the game, even just with kind of the fourth goal, it says a lot about him as a player, his character, and I think the goal itself kind of summed him up as well, didn't it? Really, it was kind of like a tackled strike, if that's even such a thing. Shows they've never done it.
The reaction when he came on, mate, as well. I mean, that just shows. I mean, after all the injury issues that lad's had, it's been a real shame, because that reaction just shows you, because when he is on the pitch, he is one that will just give it all, and he'll leave it all out there for you. And he's got that quality as well. And I think that's why he can, even though he's had 3 long-term injuries now for us, he can come back and he can get a reception like that, because I think football fans, and maybe not just Bolton fans in particular, you always appreciate players who just give everything all the time, no matter whether they play well or bad. They put it all out there, and he's one that you could never, ever accuse of shirking any occasion or game or anything like that. So, yeah, just echoing what's already been said, absolutely brilliant to see him back.
Yeah, and I think as well, he's coming into his final year of his contract as well, so naturally he's going to be fighting as much as he does on the pitch, but fighting for that potential contract. Maybe if not with us, if we get promoted, I'm not so sure whether is he able to make that jump. Possibly, maybe
fitness dependent, probably
fitness dependent. Yeah, but if not that, of course, he'll be looking to get a contract, a good contract elsewhere. So he's got a lot to play for, hasn't he? And that can only, providing that he stays fit, can be to our advantage, I would suspect. But yeah, really good point by Cal to kind of highlight that. I think 3 up, 3 down. Then I think we'll. There's plenty of stuff to be positive about. Obviously, there's more than three of us tonight, so we'll call it 4 up, 4 down. Despite this graphic. Positives and negatives from yesterday's game against Port Vale. Starting with Nathan. Nathan, it doesn't have to be football related, mate. It could be just your day in general and the way that your day went, either before or after the game. But yeah, should we start with the positives first? What we're saying?
Yeah, let's do positives, because I can't think of a negative right now. I was going to talk about us, but actually I'm going to mention that we were the only team in the top 8 to win. The other 7 lost. And I can't remember the last time we had a situation where every single result around us was a loss. Might be a few draws, but for that to happen was fantastic. I think confidence-wise for the team, for the fans. Excellent. You really couldn't have had a better Saturday 4 goals and all them results around us is just superb.
Yeah, very, very good point. Ange, what about you?
We're just doing positive to start with.
Yes.
Okay. For me, Kyle Dempsey on the pitch, scoring a goal. That for me, just the joy it brought to that stadium was brilliant. So yeah, big thumbs up for that one.
I had a feeling that might have been Dan's, but Dan, what's yours, mate?
It probably would have been, to be fair, but I can't begrudge you that one, Ange. Mason Burstow, kind of an under-the-radar performance in some respects. Obviously, he didn't really get much of a sight of goal, but he were instrumental in a couple of goals. Cozy Dubry's first, whether it's a layoff or just a touch, I'm not sure. But the second goal as well, where he did a nice dispossessed, I think the midfielder or defender, played it through for his second goal, and I just thought he absolutely tireless off the ball. I think it feels like a long time anyway, maybe Dion, where we've had strikers who'll just graft all game. I thought he was really good without really ever looking like he was going to threaten the goal yesterday. And it's a team game, isn't it? And he's obviously still contributing, even though he's not scoring goals, which I think is a really good thing for us.
Yeah. No, again, very valid point. I think as a striker as well, especially this kind of modern day, I think it's important to influence games, isn't it, really, even if you're not just scoring, because especially the way he plays as well, he's kind of like I don't know, 8.5 in it really, or 10.5 or whatever you'd like to call him, in terms of kind of dropping a little bit deeper and trying to link in play and doing a lot of the creative stuff as well. So yeah, good performance by Bursley yesterday. He's he's very much a fan favourite, isn't he? For me, yesterday, my positive was the Wanderers fans during the minutes kind of silence, and obviously yesterday was our annual Remembrance Day. We pay our respects to those who have died in conflict, and I thought, as ever, the Bolton, the clubs in general, puts on a really good and necessary and respectful respect to those who've passed away, giving their lives to allow us to live freely. So yeah, I think the club yesterday and the way the fans were excellent. Well, excludes the idiot in the Port Vale end from that, of course. But as far as the Wanderers fans are concerned, I thought you were all brilliant as ever. So yeah, credit where it's due.
It's genuinely my favourite match of the season. That I always find it really emotional, the remembrance match.
Yeah,
and I think that Vale fan, I think he messed up. I think them in the corner could see him, and he thought that the whistle was the end rather than it being waiting for the last post and things. So I do think it was a genuine mistake, that, but
let's hope so. I would suspect it would have been, and maybe someone's had a couple more too many of the old Madrid. Who knows? Let's think about our negatives from yesterday. Are there any? Obviously, Nathan, you went first, so you've had a little bit longer to think about these. So I think we'll go with you. Any negatives from yesterday?
I don't want to sound, it's obviously a negative point, but I don't want to sound negative, but Burstow's not scored in 5. I know he played fantastic yesterday. Dalby's scored against Huddersfield, and I can't even think if he scored. That was his first goal, wasn't it, in the league? And my negative was that a striker didn't score yesterday. I think it would have been good to have Force, Burstow, Dalby, one of them grab a goal just to get that, just to keep it rolling. I know Burstow's still contributing and Dalby makes a difference when he comes on, but just for one of them to have got a goal for their confidence, because it's going to drag on. It'll be 2 weeks till Bradford. That's a big game. Will they get as many chances? So, yeah, it's feeling like it's been a while since we've had a striker score a goal.
He's still top scorer, really, as well.
Yeah, he is. He's still on 7, which just shows how crap the rest of the league's been, really.
He's not
scored in 5. Yeah. But yeah, that would be my negative. I don't think it's going to become a problem, but I just like it, next game to be squashed and him to grab a goal.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Didn't really think of that. Very important. The centre forward score goals in it. So you're absolutely right. And that thing about that keeps niggling away in the back of my head is the reliance, how much we rely on a Mario as another thing. So yeah, I get why you've gone with that. Ange, what about you?
So I'm massively clutching at straws here because I'm really struggling for a negative. So it's not directly linked with yesterday as such, but I don't know if anyone else is really annoyed that Stephen Edge's name postponed because I would have massively that run. I'm so frustrated with the fact that we are postponed. That is my negative. That's all I can get. That's all I can cope with.
Yeah, I think it's a fair one. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, ultimately, it's an opportunity in it for more to rest up really, which is really important as well. And so it depends on what which way you look at it, I guess. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, again, you can't really focus too much, can you? I suppose after that, but I agree with Jordan. I'd like to see a couple of more goals. I thought they were there, they were on the ropes, they were there for the taking. We just couldn't get them other couple of goals, could we? But yeah, goal difference, you never know. Come end of a season, how important that might be. But again, that I'm being harsh there because it was a great performance, a great win. But yeah, if I had to do one, I'd like a couple more goals to make it even more comfortable.
Yeah, fair enough. Negative for me, I think mine's not really football related per se, but it was more I wanted to buy one of the Remembrance Sunday pin badges from the shop, but in true Bolton Wanderers style, they'd sold out by 2:00. So a little bit annoyed with that. But I obviously wanted to, obviously buy one of them. But of course, I therefore obviously made sure I bought myself a poppy. But yeah, that bit annoyed, but it's Bolton in it, and that's bound to happen in it because we always do stuff like that, don't we? Historically speaking, that little bit of a whinge, not really fair, but there we are. Couldn't think of anything else, to be honest. Exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. But yeah, great stuff. Thank you very much, guys and girls, contributing. Player profile, Dan. Hopefully, you've had a think about who you want to profile. I think you were choosing between 2 or 3 before we went live, weren't you? So
yeah.
Let's have a deep dive into your focus player.
So sorry, Cole. Go on.
No, sorry. Before you do that, I wanted to just bring up David's comment before I forget. David mentions his negative: no pies for the B team games. If you know. So what he's referring to is a gentleman who asked one of the speakers, I'm not sure whether it's Fergal Harkin or Chief Exec David. Can't think of his surname. Should know his surname. Anyway, on the Q&A the other night, somebody basically made the point of they don't sell any confectionery at the B team games. And yeah, it was quite interesting because he's basically saying there's a revenue stream for you for the B team games at Lostock there. But yeah, that's basically what I would say though about that particular Q&A. If you've not seen it, I know we shouldn't really advocate listening to other Bolton Wanderers podcast because of course there are a plethora of those, but Mark Isles has recorded the audio from that evening. If you haven't listened to it, I would encourage you to do so because I think there was lots and lots of positives and interesting points made the other night. So yeah, if you can find 45 minutes or an hour or whatever it was to listen back, I'd encourage you to do so. Sorry, hey, Dan, in true Cole style, I've completely stole your thunder, so I apologise. Go for it.
Yeah, it's fine. No problem. So, yeah, the obvious ones I'm not going to bother with, to be honest. But I thought Owen Toll on Saturday, I thought he were really good. And obviously, when you're building good results, it always starts with you being decent at the back if you can. And he had 17 defensive contributions on Saturday, which our closest player to that were 9, which were Christie and Johnston. Obviously, Jono made that amazing block, which probably saved a certain goal, certainly from where I were looking at it. So Toll is actually, I know we knocked it around the back quite a bit, but 93% of his pass completion and pass accuracy, which is pretty good. Just like I said, 17 defensive contributions. Didn't get dribbled past, didn't get dispossessed. 7 headed clearances, 5 recoveries, couple of tackles in there. And you just hope that you're seeing a fully fit Owen Toll who can go on a run of games, because you can sometimes forget with him, can't you? Because he has been so unlucky with like niggling injuries and playing through injuries as well. That he's a fantastic centre half on his day.
Yeah.
And I thought him and Jono were fantastic. Johnston is another one where I think he can be inconsistent. I think he is showing a bit of consistency at the minute. And fair play to him. I want it to continue. I hope it continues for both of them, because I think over the course of the last couple of seasons, they've both had question marks raised over them, certainly by myself and others that I've seen online, and I think rightly so. But Tolle, I thought, was absolutely captain fantastic, and just good to see him playing so well at the minute and being a top defender that I think he is.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing from him is a little bit of what we saw maybe 12, 18 months ago, aren't we? Where he's kind of driving forward and carrying the ball forward, isn't he? Like, I know you got them stats from FOTMob, and whilst you were speaking then, I was kind of reading a few. I wouldn't expect you to know that off the top of your head, Dan.
Well, I did.
I can see.
It's not a GCSE, don't worry. You can read it from the
Yeah,
stats.
no.
Yeah, there's a player fact on him, weren't there, on FOTMob, which kind of stated that Owen Toll was the most accurate passer of 93% to play 45 minutes or more in yesterday's game. So for a centre half, that's pretty impressive. And
a lot, to be fair, a lot of that were, sideways, backwards when we were keeping possession, but still he did play forward passes as well into midfield and wide, which is good. I just think he's like a few of ours, isn't it? They've had some bad injuries. They've been really unlucky with injuries, and you just want to see him fit and playing. And he's obviously showing with a run of games and confidence that he's a good player for us.
Yeah,
and also, he smells magnificent.
I believe so. Was it Dupe? Did you say you were wearing?
a bit of Icarate or whatever that was.
Icarate.
No, he does. Yeah, he does. He does. He smells magnificent.
But he's also coming to terms with that new system. I think he's been de-Evertised. Since he came to Bolton, he's played back three.
Oh, that
right,
is absolutely fantastic. That what you've just said, de-Evertised.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
It's the same for Jono as well. Like they played that back three, that back five, and Santos as that rock, and it's like I imagine it's not that easy to get used to changing the system. So I think you're starting to see a fully fit Toll understanding the role he has to play in a back four.
Yeah, they're not bringing the ball out like in that system. Obviously, it's a good point you've made. When Santos was like the main defender, them two were asked to carry the ball forward, weren't they?
Yeah.
Until the space opened up, and you could probably argue neither of them looked truly comfortable doing that. It's amazing, isn't it? You ask defenders to defend, and you find out what they're really kind of about and where the strengths are. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I also think before we went live, for people who obviously aren't aware of this, we were umming and ahhing, or Dan was umming and ahhing over choosing either Josh Sheehan or Owen Toll to do the this particular segment on, and I think it does help for Owen Toll having Josh Sheehan in front of him, and obviously he's always available, and he obviously uses the ball very well. Yeah, very, very clever footballer. Far too good for League One, I think, if I'm honest. And if by some frustrating miracle that we don't go up this year, I think it would be the last of Josh Sheehan. You probably see at this level. I was surprised that he didn't maybe get a move this summer, if I'm honest.
Do you not think he's another one, though, that he's starting to show a different side to his game this season with Schumacher? He's crunching into more tackles. He's just showing a little bit more of that defensive work, which probably would get him a move if we didn't go up. I think he still had that lightweight tag last year and go missing in games, and I think he's probably starting to show the player we all know he could be, but showing that dirty side of the game as well.
Very good point. And I think also helps that he's got a lot more competition as well for his place. Naturally that's going to bring the best out of him in it, and maybe allow him to adapt his game because he wants to keep his position in the team. Sorry, Dan, you were going to say something?
Yeah, sorry, just on Sheehan, I think massive credit to him, because you're right, he was a bit of a shirker at times under Ever. I don't think you could dispute that. And I think this season, obviously, he's playing a slightly different role in that too. He's looked really good. And as well with Sheehan, he's kind of. He's been one, like you said about the defensive work rate. You can definitely see an improvement with that. But I can't remember the home game it was, but he kind of was the catalyst for the crowd to come alive. He ran back and made a tackle on someone. I can't remember if it was Argyle or.
Oh, that was early. Yeah, that was Plymouth, yeah. I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it was Argyle. Yeah, and it completely just got the crowd up. And sometimes it's as simple as that, isn't it? You just want to see that bit of fight.
And fire in the belly.
Exactly. It's simple stuff. Yeah, and. Yeah, every credit to him. I'm really glad that he's showing his quality and that he can do the other side of the game as well, which he may have lacked at times over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Good all-round performance. Like we said before, by them all, really. We've had some contributions to the fan focus and we've saved them or one or two of the comments in the chat. Please do throw them in the comment section if you want to, us to kind of have a little chat about your thoughts and opinions. But we'll get into the fan focus now. And see what we've got in store, Anja.
Do you want to say anything, Colin, or straight in, or?
No, for once, I'll shut up.
Yeah, you've not sent too much in, but there's a couple of bits and bobs. So if we start with David Green's comment regarding Kyle Dempsey's return could see Randall being sold in January along with one or two more. I wanted to kind of maybe broach the January window topic, and that's a good way to start it. Chris Burton obviously had written, we came to the thing with us on Friday. We spoke to Fergal about potential for windows. And he just said we had Dewberry Gale, Erhard, Burstow, Force, Dalby, Simons, all in one window. Like, what do we think we're going to be getting? Do we think we're going to get anything in January? Where would you like to see us focusing our attentions in that January window? So if you want to pop anything in the chat, if you've got any thoughts about it, and then we'll just quickly go around the panel. So let me know what you think, if you think we're going to go into for anything, and if we are, what. And we'll start with Dan.
So at the minute, obviously things can change. I'm not sure we're going to want to do any business in January. And the reason is because we did so well in summer. Getting that strength and depth. There's two players per position. So I think, barring injuries, obviously, I know it's been mentioned, Kyle Dempsey coming back. I think that could dislodge either a McAtee or a Randall in terms of possibly an exit. I think there could be maybe a couple of exits. But if we get injuries, I'd imagine we'd look for cover. But as it stands at the minute, I personally thought we might be looking at defenders in January, but at the minute they're doing the business. So as it stands, I wouldn't be surprised if we tried to not do anything. But again, it just depends, I suppose, on the kind of shape of the squad, doesn't it, and what injuries we've got, etc. Form. But I wouldn't be surprised if there were nothing.
And would you be happy, Dan, if there was nothing?
If we're playing, if we're playing like we're playing now. And we're staying relatively injury free, and even the players who are coming in from the squad to replace those more key players are performing. Like we've seen Sissoko last couple of games turn a corner for us, because I think a lot of us have written him off.
I didn't.
Yeah, well, I don't know, I think if we can keep utilising the squad depth that we've got and they're still performing, then I don't see why. Yeah.
Cool. Nathan, what do you think?
Yeah, I do agree with Dan, actually. The only counter I'd have is I'd probably think we could look at a right winger back up to Koji Dewberry. I think that is maybe our only weak spot. If he was to get injured, it's not who you'd put on the right. but it would be a backup. So I don't think it would be any money spent. It'd probably be a loan, Premier League loan maybe, just to add a little bit of competition for him. He doesn't seem like the kind of player to, get complacent and not, feel like he has to keep performing for his spot. But, you don't know how that changes if he stays in January and he starts to drop off and he knows he's not got anyone fighting him for that spot. We've seen it before with players where Morley, Sheehan in the past have dropped off because they know there's no one taking that spot. So, yeah, maybe a backup right winger.
Colin, what do you want to see?
Yeah. So I like the fella. I think he comes across good. I think he's experienced in his own country. But I'm panicking over the backup goalkeeper situation. If Teddy Sharman-Law gets injured, my question to you all is Tyler Miller good enough to get us promoted? And from what I've seen so far, the answer is no. So my focus would be on investment in a goalkeeper of a championship standard.
Because my question to you, sorry to interrupt, would you not rather have Hutchinson on the bench over Miller? Someone that we could develop that would be ours, or do you not think he's ready?
Potentially, yeah. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I've not seen enough to play, so I can't comment.
I don't think he's ready from his loan, his disastrous loan appearance for last season, end of the season. Where did he go? I can't remember where it was.
South, weren't it? I think Cheltenham or something.
Yeah, I think that.
I went to Crawley, didn't he?
Crawley,
yeah. Definitely proved he. I think it was a big bit of a.
I think goalkeepers, to answer your question, really, Nath, goalkeepers, unless they're a James Trafford or a Teddy Sharman-Law premium top goalkeeper, they take time, don't they, to grow as goalkeepers. So to answer your question, probably not. I would rather us invest some money in a proven championship level goalkeeper, even one that's maybe, I don't know,
bit older,
early 30s, mid 30s, or whatever. Just so I know that if that was to happen, we don't have a Joel Coleman-esque situation from a couple of seasons back. It's funny now looking back, but at the time it certainly weren't funny because I'm convinced that he cost us promotion that season. Almost 100%. The way Nathan Baxter were playing at that time, if Nathan Baxter would have stayed fit during the course that remained that season, we'd have probably saw ourselves getting an automatic promotion.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So I know Joe Coleman's a Bolton lad. I know obviously he was again nice fella, but he wasn't good enough. And neither is, from what I've seen, is Tyler Miller. To be fair,
but what you're saying there is essentially, we got Coleman from Ipswich, didn't we? When they got promoted.
Yeah, but I think it was like third or fourth choice goalkeeper or something.
Yeah, it was backup. But what I'm saying is, if you're thinking we're going to get a championship level keeper to come and not play.
No, I'm not. Sure I'm saying maybe a goalkeeper who's coming at the end of his contract, who's maybe mid 30s or whatever, or he's proven he can play at that level as a starting goalkeeper, and he'd be happy to try and compete and play with a Teddy Sharman-Law. Because for me, Tyler Miller doesn't install.
I agree.
Confidence whatsoever.
I do agree with you. I think the only point at which we will sign a keeper is if for whatever reason he gets injured or he goes back, and then we have to sign a new number one. I don't think either of those, Broom or Miller, would ever be a number one for us. I think that's the only scenario where we're going to sign someone half decent.
Well,
to be honest,
that's slightly concerning in a way because I do remember when Teddy Sharman-Law signed. He was pretty open with the fact that if we were to go up, it's not even a case of him being happy to come back to Wanderers, because I think he is and he would be. But it's Chelsea, I think, and Bolton have kind of come to some kind of agreement with us if we do go up that we can have him back and we want him back.
Yeah.
So even competing in the Championship with Tyler Miller as your backup goalkeeper, if you're going again for next season, if you're talking about next season, it's concerning. So
I don't think you'd see Tyler Miller in Championship as a backup for us, mate.
Well, then, therefore, we should be investing in somebody we can in January that can come play for us next season as well in Championship.
I think that would be an end of summer thing, surely. Like
if
we did get promoted,
rocking off.
Yeah.
Maybe, but there's plenty of contracts coming towards the end of up for renewal, I would imagine, come the summer. So you never know, do you? That it could be something you can invest in.
Fergal is a very charming man. You never know.
Why not?
Right, moving on from that one. So Leslie, and apologies for the language used by Leslie Davis.
Bleep it out.
He says, how the hell will Schumacher pick a team for this Bradford game with everyone playing so well? He is going to have a big headache trying to sort it out. So my question to you is, do we stick or do we twist? Bradford at home, same team, or are you making changes? And this time we'll start with Nick.
He's no animated, isn't he?
Yeah, there's no way he stays with that team against Bradford. I think that you can't have Randall. Randall has to come out. And I don't know who you'd put in. Force, maybe you'd put Dalby in. You know, just a bit of. I think Bradford will be a physical match. There's no way he sticks with that team. If he's fit, I don't know whether I'd put Gale in. It's because now there's the international break. You know, Sissoko's playing well. I'll probably stick with Sissoko. Same team without Randall. That's why I got so animated, because there's no way he's.
Yeah, I could see you got animated straight with that, didn't you?
Yeah, it got me. It actually got me a little bit angry at the thought of it. But yeah, there's no way he starts against Bradford.
What are you saying, Cole?
It's hard to disagree with that, isn't it?
Would you give Dempsey a goal there?
I'll let Nathan answer that.
No, I'll let Dan answer, because Dan's not in agreement. So you can go. Dan.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like I said, we said for ages, haven't we? Nobody's kind of made that 10 position their own yet. And Dempsey coming back just adds another option, something different there, isn't he? He's just so full of energy and running. And you can imagine him making late runs into the box like he did against Port Vale and getting on the end of it. And he adds that physicality and that bit of needle as well that you might need in some of these games. So I would, if he's fit enough to start, 100% I would play him. Won't even give it a second thought. Yeah,
I think we might get a little bit of an insight into that after an Oldham game on Tuesday.
I think he's going to start him.
I think Dempsey's going to start, and if he comes off after an hour unscathed, then that might give you a bit of an insight into his start. Yeah. So ultimately, like Dan's just said, he's kind of come in, hasn't he? And no one's really made that number 10 their own, but he's come on and scored. So he has made it. Well, not made it his own, but he certainly said, "Hello, I'm available. Pick me," type of thing.
Yeah, he's had an impact, hasn't he? And that's all you want from players coming on off the bench.
What are your thoughts, Nathan? Given you number 10 comments.
No, I agree with that. Sometimes I forget. You know, Dempsey's been out for so long. You know, he doesn't even come to mind. So that's true. I think Dan's right. That's exactly who I'd probably put in there if he's fit enough, because he just he gets the crowd off their feet with his running and his energy. So. Yeah, that's a good shout.
They're all in agreement with that, Ange?
Fabulous. I don't know what the chat said. Was there anything in it? No. Oh, John McGinley. Yes, he did. John McGinley, Leslie had said he'd like him in that role. So there we go. If Super John says it, then it's right.
This is enough for gospel.
And then I think just a quick one, which also I think links in a little bit to some of the questions that were asked. I think it was Colin's question actually on Friday night to Fergal about, we have a title-winning squad, stadium and fan base. We have to win this league and make a real statement. Huge opportunity this season. And Colin asked a question about what sort of allure it had, being Bolton Wanderers, playing in that stadium. I can't remember what your question was exactly, Colin, if you can remember it.
Yeah, I mean, I asked a question with very little interest in the answer, to be honest with you. I just took it as an opportunity to mention the Fanzone podcast to all of the representatives of senior level at the club. I wouldn't really bother what I asked, and I wouldn't really bother what he said, to be honest, Fergal, if you're listening, with all due respect. No, I think what it was is, I think, to summarise, I basically said how much of a pull is the stadium and the facilities of the football club when it comes to signing players of coming from obviously higher level. You know, does it give you that, you know, that ace up your sleeve type of thing? That was basically the question. I knew the answer. Obviously, the answer is, of course, it is blah 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 blah. But yeah, that's the reason why I asked it. Just as an opportunity to mention the post.
Yeah, and I think it's not to be underestimated the pull that our facilities, club size, fan base. Fergal was waxing lyrical about how much when we get behind them, the boys just massively it sends them up an extra gear or two. So I think when we do, and Kyle said in his walk around after with John, it was one of the first things he said, and we can't underestimate the power of positive reinforcement rather than constantly being on backs. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the end of Fan Focus. Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, I think just on that, I'm doing my best here to find it. Fergal was chatting to us at the end. I can't find it now, unfortunately. It's really going to annoy me. But he encouraged us as a podcast, because he was speaking specifically to me and Ange, because obviously we were the representatives for the night, to watch a Netflix documentary. And he mentions it on the audio. So if you do listen to it back, then do remember what he said. Something like that on Netflix. He basically said, I watched it. It's essentially an American baseball team where fans were being rather vocal toward the player who wasn't performing, and he basically decided getting behind him, and he did a full 360 and ended up being the best player, blah, 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 blah. It just makes you kind of think, and I think that the reason why he's telling us to listen to it for exactly the reason Andrew just said, because it has such a positive impact on the players, and I think that gives us all a bit of an insight, and I'm guilty of it more than anybody, I'll be honest with you, on here in terms of grilling poor performances, but I think it gives you a bit of an insight into the modern day footballer as well. I think it's a timely reminder to me that I'm getting old, and obviously players aren't what they were, and Fergal alluded to the fact that players are different these days, obviously with social media, and they're maybe a little bit more sensitive. He didn't say that. I'm just saying that. They're my words. Than maybe they were 10, 15 years ago, whatever. And yeah, it does have a big effect on it on the players. And I think I need to personally tone it down as well on here. I think when I go in on them, because I think if we can be positive, then it might help them get over the line this season. Who knows?
He did use an analogy for Colin and asked about if Theo does something wrong, what would he do?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. I thought he was showing an interest in my kids, and he was just trying to point me in down a particular route of his comment. But yeah, that's the podcast, by the way. David's highlighted it on the screen. It's called The Turnaround on Netflix. It's only like half an hour or something like that.
Give that a watch.
It makes you take a bit of a step back and realise the effect that we have on the players, essentially.
Cool.
Right, Ange, are we done?
I've handed it back over to you, Colin. Did you?
Handed it back over. Massive thank you. Sorry, I'm off.
He's too busy looking through his 10 minutes of fame on the bloody Friday night thing.
Like that. Huge thank you to the 111 people who've listened back and watched live tonight. Really appreciate that. Obviously, if you could do us a massive favour, usual stuff, like, subscribe, tell your friends about the Fanzone pod. We are growing as the weeks and months go by, but we obviously want as many Bolton fans kind of tuning in as possible, so that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much to everybody who's joined us in the chat, of course, and Dan. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Ange, thank you.
Pleasure.
And Nathan, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Fabulous. Have a lovely week, whatever you get up to. Hopefully we win on Tuesday.
Have fun on Tuesday.
Yeah, in that competition.
Colin's favourite.
That's it. Have a lovely week. Sell out. I can't believe that.
I know. You're all madness.
Have a lovely evening, everybody. What's left of it.
Take care, everyone. Take care.
Sure. Yeah, unreal. Boys are